Hello, faithful. Welcome to another episode of Sour Grabs and Event.
That's your host, Alex Pulowski, and everything sucks. With him, as always, is me, Kate, the influencer. I'm in my influencer era. We're going to talk all about it because Lash Legend was on the show tonight, but I'm also a Lash Legend. But get in your super chats, get in your Humper chats at humperchats.com. Please leave a thumbs up on this video. It helps us so much when you guys do. It's one of the best free ways to support us. But if you've got a little cash, if you got a $5 a month to spend, if you're like, I cut back on one Starbucks drink and now I can put it back into FightfulSelect.com, boy, do we have the wrestling news website for you, okay? All the scoops you could ever want in the whole wide world. An update on Warner Brothers and AEW went up today, kind of debunking some other stuff that was out there, kind of creating some much needed clarity for what's going on because the basketball rights deals, more and more contract news coming down the pike. The reveal of Hologram was confirmed by Fightful Select as well. A lot going on. So, unlike the state that Alex is currently in, where he's not even sour, he's just sad. It would put a big smile on our faces if you would head over to FightfulSelect.com and subscribe right now, because this made me want to Great American bash my head into a wall. That was overkill. That was way overkill. But like this, I don't feel like this is a main roster complaint too, to be honest. My champions aren't championing. Like it doesn't feel like, outside of Open Femi, who's literally perfect in every single way. Like, but he doesn't even have a long-term story either. So these title reigns are bad. And it was really eye-opening to me when somebody mentioned, I think it was Sefa, because he's our resident researcher, that Joe Coffey was the only title defense for Trick other than when Ethan Page showed up.
And that was on a house show.
Joe Coffey was on a house show.
Yeah.
With as over as he was and how made he was by his feud with Trick, that is rough. Also, shout out to Sean Gardner for pointing out in the chat the NXT scoop that I probably should have mentioned that was confirmed on FightfulSelect.com. Delta Brady, my girl, somebody that was shown to me, someone out of the Australian scene, someone that I learned about from Jamie Apps and Todd Beastman out of Australia. I'll always give them props for that. Just a superstar in the making, confirmed by FightfulSelect.com. Rumored heavily, but man, you've got a fun one in store. But as I throw this back to Alex, it is kind of a hard week to get excited for the idea of incoming talent when this is what we are getting out of a build into Great American Bash. It's just really, really great matches tonight. The main event was such a blast, but like, this is what we're doing with the Ethan Page era. Man, I don't get it.
Because the booking of the champions in NXT, and let's be honest, pretty much all the way across NXT, because the booking in NXT is such a clown show, circus puns. Circus puns. And if you need to like build that out to where the circus usually is, or at least used to be, carnival puns. Circus / carnival puns. It is state and county fair season.
So, and also the roots of professional wrestling.
Yes, also carnies. Yes.
Yeah.
So like just a pun for like carnies would just be, you just say Jeff Jarrett and that's enough. You know what I mean? So yeah, circus / carnival puns.
Okay.
Because the booking of NXT is such a clown show. It's my fault. I mentioned this to Kate, and honestly, everything is always my fault. This is the way I don't end up making my wife too mad. I'll just admit everything's my fault immediately when the argument starts. So I'm used to things being my fault, but it's my fault for being so excited when Ethan Page showed up that I thought to myself, "Oh, this is something really great. He's gonna add a whole new thing to NXT they don't have, and there's a top baby face in Trick Williams, but he needs a top heel to feud with, and that guy easily is Ethan Page." And like, yeah, they have been kind of, but also what? So, like, that's the thing, is I got my hopes up for a really great rivalry to carry us into the CW era, into 2025. And what we got is not that. And so, like, we will delve into what we did indeed get that wasn't that, but we just didn't get that. And it's my fault. I allowed myself to believe in something, not Joe Hendry, but something. I allowed myself to believe in something, and what I was betrayed by my own naivete. That I thought maybe, possibly, the signing of Ethan Page was a bellwether for greater times ahead. And nope, it's just more of the same clown show.
My kingdom for a single promotion that can book this guy to his potential. Like, and Alex, you mentioned this before we went on air as well. There are certain things that NXT does that drive me nuts. And one of the chief ones is there is a story right in front of you, and you're like, we're just going to tell something else. And that's the case with this Oro Mena thing. That's the case with Roxanne and Thea, as we're going to talk about in a little bit. Like, there is a story that is spoon-fed to you on a spoon, because that's what spoon-fed means. I don't know why I was giving stirring it with my hands, but
usually
it's
what is meant by the term spoon-fed. Unless they're feeding you literal spoons, in which case don't eat them.
That sounds terrible.
They are inedible.
That's horrendous. But if they're playing the airplane game with the kid on the spoon fed, they're like, just missed the mouth entirely. Yeah. It went hard left. Like, it's very frustrating because it also is the kitschiest crap in the world. While Ethan Page has really good comedic timing, it's like you had a chance to make the Trick reign wasn't great. He's really good. We've talked about this over and over again. The wrestler, the reign, rarely match. Like, that's just how NXT has been. But Ethan Page presented an opportunity to make this feel like a prestigious title again, and it just doesn't, because you're having him do clown show shit, like get pinned when matches aren't happening. This is so silly and not in a fun way. It's like it's making fun of wrestling, or it's like making fun of Ethan Page. Like, I hate when you actively go out of your way to make talent look stupid. And it's not that he's doing a bad job with what he's been given. It's just what he's been given is not.
Nobody can make that work.
No, it's bad.
Tom LaValle says, "Don't frown because it's over. Frown because it happened."
Don't be sad because it's over. Be sad because it happened.
Yeah, no,
it's a sweet sentiment to take.
So Trick Williams comes out, and this is the beginning of it, because to me, not only is they not booking champions well, but they're not booking former champions well. Like, so here's what happened. In a fatal four-way that really never should have been a fatal four-way because of the way that the whole setup of that match happened. Like, there was a battle royal, and the winner of the battle royal was supposed to get a one-on-one match with Trick Williams. But because the refs are idiots, They're like, you know, and also security can't do their friggin' job. Oro Mena knocks Ethan Page out of the ring, and they never actually he's never really eliminated. So he gets a match versus Javon Evans and pins him. Also, Sean Spears pinned Javon Evans like a couple of weeks ago. So like we have a fatal 4-way in which Trick Williams is not pinned, in which Trick Williams actually knocks out the guy who pins another guy via the knockout blow. And what other guy would they have not storm into Ava's office and be like, that never should have been a fatal 4-way. I wasn't pinned. In fact, I knocked his ass out so he was able to get the pin. I want my damn rematch. But Trick Williams, who, if you'll recall, held the North American Championship for 2 goddamn days, never even asked for a rematch versus Dominic Mysterio. Never asked for one. Didn't ask for one. And here's like, I'll be coming after that NXT title. Just you wait. Why are we waiting? Why aren't you having that match? Why aren't you insisting? Listen, Oro, I respect that you don't like that guy, but if I gotta fight you to get my title shot, that's what I'm gonna do. Why are we not writing Trick Williams as having the urgency to get his title back, which he never should have lost? And that also, when you couple that with the thing from before, when he lost the North American title after 2 goddamn days and never even tried to get it back, it sure feels like Trick Williams, as an overall character, doesn't really care if he's champion or not. And
no,
like
especially
and with how over he is, he needs to be your top babyface, and your top babyface being like, yeah, if I'm champ, if I'm not, whatever, isn't a really good thing to do for your fucking TV show.
No, and last week when it like really, I don't maybe fixate on certain things to the level that you do. But I was really annoyed by the line that, like, I know the title doesn't define the man or whatever. Like, that, like, got under my skin a little bit. And combined with everything you just said is all the more frustrating with that magnifying glass on it. And this is another thing I said about both companies, that I think sometimes they confuse long-term storytelling with dragged out storytelling.
Right.
I think sometimes they confuse chases with runarounds. Like, particularly in WWE, that's something that I think AEW probably does have a little bit better of a handle on. But, like, they confuse chasing back to the title with, like, I have to take 87 detours on the way to get back to the title. And that's not long-term. That's just annoying. Like, it's long-term in the sense that it takes a long time, but it's inconsistent as hell when you are chasing back to a title, because you're not fixated on the thing that you've said is your end game. And I appreciate that Trick at least came out with some fire in his voice. He had some boom in his voice and talking about wanting to get this title back. But it was also like 3 weeks later or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And
a couple of weeks ago when I lost my title, like, yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago. What you done about that since? Because I saw you FaceTiming people last week.
Yeah,
you were FaceTiming people. You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't doing a lot. Like, we know where Ava is. She's in her office. Like,
yeah, everybody was complaining to everyone on tonight's show too. My God,
Jesus, why
they're bugging Ava? They're bugging Shawn Michaels and Gorilla. Bunch of whiners at NXT. Let's get it together. Let's have some matches.
The only reason that you do the finish you did of the Fatal 4-Way is so Trick wants his rematch right away.
Immediately.
And Ethan can say no, but Ava can overrule him. And then you get I'm not sure what we're doing at it. Like, it just. So
you could also have Ethan Page dodging. Like, Eva could not overrule him. You know what I mean? Like,
then she'd be a really bad general manager.
Yeah, but like, if we
already have one of those. His name is Adam Pearce. We don't need another one on TV.
Adam Pearce is really bad at he's kayfabe very bad at his job.
Yeah.
Like, really bad.
Like yes, in kayfabe, he's terrible and should be fired.
Yeah,
like,
he's like, you got mad at a ref. Your extension or your suspension is extended. You though, serial murderer, we have an understanding.
Yeah,
But today it was Shawn Michaels was in Gorilla getting barked at by multiple people. I was like, calm down backstage.
Yeah. Cedric Alexander comes out, and I missed the interaction they had last week. I must have been fast forwarding trying to catch up. They had an interaction last week that I missed, in which he was trying to give him some advice, and Trick didn't want to hear it. And so he comes out like, listen, I know you're trying to brush me off, but I have some experience. I'm a former champion. And I was like, holy shit, he was, wasn't he? And not just in the cruiserweight division. I forgot, like, when the Hurt Business was there for like 6 weeks, they actually let him and Shelton hold the titles.
Yes,
for like an episode or two
for
of
a minute.
Raw. That was fun. But so him talking about how, like, you can't let your emotions get in the way of it. Like, he's basically saying the opposite of what I'm saying. No, your emotions should get you. You should use your emotions. You should be angry about how you lost your title and really want it back. Anyway. But then he's interrupted by Ashante the Adonis, who's like, I told you he doesn't want to hear from you. And like, this would be so much better, Kate, this whole thing, if we literally ever, even once, saw Cedric and Ashante the Adonis team for a match on television. Their long, rich history of being a tag team, they know each other so well. Even if they have a disagreement, they can handle it backstage. However, because we saw them in one vignette that never led anywhere, we have to like just take their word for it that they're like, old friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and yes, there should be some better establishment of it, even if they had a series of vignettes before they arrived about them being good friends. And I don't mean a series of vignettes of them doing stuff like we used to see on NXT of like they went fishing together or any of that bullshit, because that was really bad. But more, if there were 3 or 4, I would prefer a match or 7. But if they at least had done more creative work, that would be cooler. I do understand that it seems like things are very creatively fast moving right now as far as like incoming talent, what's going on. So, but like just a little more context about their relationship would be better in some form.
Yeah. So then Ashante is talking to Trick. Trick doesn't like it, and eventually, I think Trick says something which kind of like Cedric takes as Trick saying he's better than Cedric, and doesn't like that. So, like, let's have a match tonight. And Trick's like, yes, let's do it. I am about it. Remember he used to do that? He used to say, I'm about it. You say that every week. I'm about it. And then we did an informal polling of our black members of our chat who said, no, we don't actually say it anymore. I was like, I knew it. I knew you don't say that anymore. That's weird.
You definitely have never said it, because I've
never said it. I've never. I am about it.
I do. I'm about it.
I'm about it twice. So I don't know. I like Ashante gets like takes a shot from Trick, and then like they have to like hold him back, and just it's a clown show. The whole thing's a clown show. It just really is. Hey, remember that thing that I said was going to happen? During the no disqualification match, with Brooks and whatever with Beej and Double Vest. I said that,
yes,
we're just waiting for Sean Spears to get involved. I assumed Sean Spears would actually be the one to wield the chair. He indeed was not, but the match was suitably hard hitting. And like there were crazy kendo stick welts on Briggs. There was a steel stairs in the ring. There was like a lot of really cool this felt more like the big blow off they were supposed to have a long time ago. It never did. Correct. So I'm glad they finally did it. But also like no disqualification. And then Beach gets into a car driven by somebody we don't know who. It's probably Sean Spears. Oh, I guess that's why you do. Anyway, it was a very good no disqualification match with a very obvious finish, and they did it, and we move on, I guess.
It was a really, really solid match. There's only one way to pull off this gimmick if you're our dear Beach, and it's to be this committed to it, and he did. Like,
Yeah.
It needs to be, if you're gonna do a no DQ match, it has to be like even on the violent end for no DQ matches and what they'll allow in a PG environment on NXT. Like, it needs to be welted kendo sticks. Because like if I'm supposed to buy that this guy is a loose cannon, you've got to commit to all of it and all of the creative. He's executed well. The more recent stuff got weird, but you then have to go do that in the ring, and that's actually different because you're laying in your shit different. So he did. So kudos to him. Briggs looks good as well in this, but this was mostly to cement our dear Beach as being this guy now as an in-ring performer. And I just wish they hadn't booted the transition in between of him like doing all this work around everything, around on social media, around the show, but still showing up, all for Shawn Michaels to be like, I believe in second chances, and him to be like, well, with that second chance, I'm going to beat up Javon Evans for no reason, and then be like, we are going to give you a match out of that. It makes this part so much less satisfying.
Well, it is a company-wide policy after what
it is.
Braun Breaker, like, you know.
Braun Breaker, you're banned from the building. I'm back in the building. You get a number one contendership match.
Specifically told not to interfere with the title match last week. Did interfere with said title match after being banned from the building. Next week, number one contenders match. So basically, company policy is if you do a specifically horrible thing, you will be rewarded with exactly what you want. So
yes, so
it's company-wide policy.
It really is, and it makes the creative bad, unfortunately. Because why would you want to be a champion at NXT, and why would you want to follow a single rule in this promotion ever?
Yes.
Doesn't make sense. But with what happened tonight, these guys did exactly what they needed to do. Right. Was definitely, I think, did what it set out to do in establishing that Brooks Jensen is now, this is how he functions in this world. Like he is fully this guy in every facet now, as we've seen him. So
I did appreciate the new gear, which includes a flannel tied around his waist, which feels like not the gear you would normally wrestle in, but all right. And also, I thought we were gonna get a full headshot with the chair because it was a plastic one. I didn't understand why we were using a plastic one instead of a metal one, unless we were doing like headshots with it or something much worse than normal chair shots to the back. But we ended up with a spike DDT onto a plastic chair, which I'm sure hurts, but it's not metal, you know?
No. And I mean, Sean Spears, if there's anything we know about him, it's that he's a chair pervert. So he should know that of anybody because that's his whole thing.
He's a connoisseur of chairs.
He is a chair connoisseur. He did a really good job too with just like the peripheral role he played. He's great at like slowing down to get the reaction kind of stuff. I appreciate that about him. Of if you're going to be that cerebral, you have to sit in moments like he did tonight, and he did a good job at that. Kind of intrigued to see where this goes, because I'm wondering if whatever they had planned for Ridge Holland, they've now just moved Brooks Jensen into that role. Because it definitely felt like Sean Spears was taking Ridge Holland to do this exact thing.
Because Ridge Holland's new gimmick is t-shirt designer?
Oh, we'll get into that too. But remember how Sean Spears was like, I've got my eyes on some of these big guys, and it was like, it's Ridge Holland. And then they were like, JK, he's now joining this very real wrestling university.
not only joining, he's like their unofficial mascot / t-shirt. He designs the merch for the university.
I mean, after the comments of AEW being a t-shirt company, I feel like they need to fire back on this week's episode of AEW Dynamite Blood and Guts.
Yeah, there you go.
Chase U is just a t-shirt university. It's the same thing as being a paper champion.
So there's a little meeting of the minds between the Rascalz and the Blurry Boys backstage, and they agree to a match, but the Blurry Boys need to find a third. Also, as soon as the Rascalz leave, Axiom's like, "Hey, by the way, I'm on speed this week." And he says, you shouldn't do that because it can really mess with your internal body chemistry, says Nathan Frazier. But he's like, no, not on speed. Like I'm wrestling on
speed.
I'm wrestling in the speed tournament. I was like, oh, that makes me feel so much better, because I don't know if you've seen that episode of Saved by the Bell, but it's really scary.
I'm so excited.
And of course, if they actually did that angle on this show, it would be like this. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so scared. So anyway, Nathan Frazier's like, you're a huge hypocrite. And Axiom's like, no, actually, I agree with you. You were right the last time, because there was zero comeuppance for us.
Correct.
We had a whole storyline about how you were spread too thin, and I thought that was a bad idea. And so not only did we retain our titles, but also, like, we didn't have to break up. So I think we should totally tempt fate, and I'll do the exact same thing that you did a couple of weeks ago, and everything's going to work out now. So,
I mean, he kind of had a point of, like, we retained our titles. Why wouldn't I also pursue?
Right. But I do love that Nathan Frazier's like, wait, but you had such a problem with it last time.
Yeah.
Like, no, but like, you were right and I was wrong. Hold on. I thought about it. I did a lot of soul searching, and I actually believe that you were in the right and I was in the wrong. So yeah, I'm just gonna go over to SmackDown and face. I forget who I faced last night, but I'm gonna be showing up anyway. But anyway, yeah, check it out. This Wednesday on X.
I was being Nathan Frazier in the role of pretending you didn't know what you were saying.
Yes.
Pretending I didn't know what you were saying.
Thank you. I do appreciate that.
I can do more than influence, Alex. I'm also a supporting actor.
So Lola, again, like, they didn't do it. They still owe me this. They didn't do a Lola and Karmen have a like thing where they're talking about how they used to hate each other, I don't know, 7 minutes ago, and now they're friends. They didn't do that. I'm still owed that. I'm sorry, I'm still owed it. The Lola Vice being a baby face is far too new. Karmen being like, you know what? You've changed your stripes. I'm in. You've turned over a new leaf. All other metaphors about a person changing. And I
opened a new chapter.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So anyway, they're watching footage of Stephanie Vaquer. And like, wow, she's pretty great. Yeah, I know. When she gets here, everything's going to change. But the women's division is really, we're going to have to step up. Yeah, it's true. And then Sol Ruka, who's sitting there, and this is something I did like. She goes, I wonder if when she gets here, they're going to call her a rookie, just like they call me a rookie. And I'm like, this is good, because you're acknowledging you've been here for like 2.5 years, so you're not a rookie. But there was no Fallon, there was no JC, there was no Jasmine Nix with 7 extra consonants.
Sadly,
there was none. They didn't show up. I thought for sure they would show up, and did they? And I missed it. Did they show up and cost them the match they had later? I don't think they did.
No.
A whole bunch of people who were in seemingly prominent storylines just had the week off.
Well, that's okay. I don't need stuff on my.
I mean, fine, but I don't think we should be using week 1 of Great American Bash to build stuff for week 2 of Great American Bash. I should know almost the entire card for Great American Bash Night 2 tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair.
So anyway, in walks Jay. Like, this is. Oh, by the way, have Isla and Alba defended those titles since they won them? No, they haven't. And I'm like, yeah, they haven't. A symptom of nobody on any brand knows how to book a champion. Like, Jesus, like the closest thing they got they're doing something good with is Cody, and if Cody wins versus Solo Sikoa, they don't know how to book a champion. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that they're doing here. So the women that when was Clash at the Castle? Like 6 weeks ago, and they haven't defended the title. So anyway, they want a title shot. The NXT team wants a title shot versus Isla and Alba, but then Lash and Jakara Jackson say that they want a title shot. So let's have a match tonight to determine who gets the title shot, kind of. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that they had a match with stakes on it because that was good. But,
yeah,
it is a. I mean, women's tag belt wrestling women's tag wrestling for a belt is like I don't follow Japan close enough to know, but like at least in America is a big issue and that nobody knows how to do it. And the plan was never for Alba and Isla. They would have been on television at all in the like 8 months before if that had been the case. So it is maddening that they took those titles off NXT, which does have a thriving women's division, despite like there's an incredible amount of women's talent on NXT, and there's an incredible amount of screen time for women's talent on NXT. We have a world championship. We now have a mid-card title. Tag wrestling is something that's different in the same way that I like the Heritage Cup on the men's side because it offers something different. It would be nice to have something offered different in the women's division, especially if you're doing jack shit with them on the main roster. So that is not good. But I'm glad that we got this match, and I'm glad that it was for something, and hopefully the spooky Scottish witches, who are only Scottish now and no longer spooky or witches, previously had turned into a speaker in a water bottle on this very program.
But they've been stripped of their magical powers. They are now muggles.
They are now muggles.
They are now generic Scottish muggles.
Sad.
We'll just talk about this tag match. There was nothing to it. It was fine. But now I don't know what hope the rookies have of winning this feud with the veterans since they lost to Lash Legend to Jakara Jackson. Jakara Jackson hasn't had a match in a really long time. Yeah. You know what I mean? Nor
has Lash. And as
Lash,
a tag team, I can't tell you.
No, long time since they've been a tag team. But Lash has been doing stuff in the singles division and just feel like, hey, we're going to do a tag match. Who do we have as a tag team? Nobody. You had disbanded all of the tag teams. Oh, right. Crap. Lash and Jakara will be a tag team again now. And so that's what we're doing. Lash won with this cool looking face buster thing out of a backpack.
Yeah, it looks like Mercedes finisher almost, but I think it actually
not.
works.
It's she's like across her back, not like vertical. Not vertical, horizontal.
Yeah.
It's the same basic idea, but it looks way, way better.
Yeah, she's just so much taller and just like bigger. Right. It's really, really cool looking. Lash Legends come a very, very long way. And I appreciate that at least this tag team, at least they're in the same stable. It's not just like, you two, get out there.
Right.
Like we got in the pre-show in Toronto.
Yeah. The only thing that was that wasn't even here. That was a different match. So yeah, Karmen gets pinned by Lash, and then Lash says, "Hey, Alba and Isla, we want you guys at Great American Bash," and then they respond via Twitter.
Yeah, yes, I mean, Karmen getting pinned clean as a sheet is bad. Like, I like when you rotate talent and storylines. Like, I don't need to see the same people on TV every single week. Mm-hmm. But if the storyline's going to be there, the people involved in it should. Mm-hmm. Like, to protect Karmen in this, They certainly love DQ finishes and they certainly love interference. You should probably use it in situations that would protect a talent who's supposed to be entering a multi-person 5-on-5 feud or whatever that's going to look like.
So this is fine. I just, you have I was like, oh, wait a minute. They're going to defend the titles on Tuesday next week. This Friday, they're going to go meet with Bianca and Jade. So if they were to have Bianca versus Jade, that would be next Friday. So they would have a title defense on Tuesday and then a title defense on Friday. Or if they put them on the actual card, Saturday. So that's two in 1 week after having none for 6 weeks. So that's just how things work. You know what I mean? It's fine. Not fine. Booker T. What the hell? What he's just straight up saying just fake things that don't
making stuff up.
Just literally making stuff up, obviously not paying attention to anything. There's a thing later in the Ashante the Adonis match, why is Ashante the Adonis even come out to talk to Trick? Oh, maybe he was just trying to hit on Jakara Jackson. You ever think of that? She wasn't in the ring when Trick. Wait, are you even listening to me? We got. I think authentic Vic Joseph being like, I cannot work like this. And the whole time. When I say the whole time, the match lasted 3 minutes, but the whole time the match was going on, it was just him talking about how Lexis King is the biggest TV star. The ratings are through the roof, and it's all because of one man, and that man is Lexis King. And then Lexis King had his finisher reversed and lost in 3 minutes to Eddie Thorpe.
He said this is the biggest match of Eddie Thorpe's career. He flat out said that.
Yeah, because
he was in an underground match with Dijak.
Because, Kate, if you follow Booker's completely misplaced logic, if Lexis King is the biggest TV star in the world, then if Eddie Thorpe has a match versus him and could possibly beat him, that would never happen, according to Booker T's completely delulu brain workings. Then maybe it would be a big match for him. But because Brian Pillman Jr. ain't that at all, we just get Booker T going, and that's all we get. We just get that for 3 solid minutes while Vic Joseph tries to call a match.
He didn't. I mean, not that the story of Rock and Roll versus EDM was anything great, but they didn't even have time to bring it up because Booker T was talking about nonsense and the match ended so quick.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what though, Alex?
What?
Some people are embarrassed by a performance that's only 3 minutes long.
I mean, yes, theoretically, some people would be.
And
if that were to ever happen to some people,
sure, of course, but you'd have issues maybe that you need help with. That maybe commentary isn't the biggest problem with that, and
sure.
You could use some assistance, and darn it, if BlueChew.com code Fightful isn't the solution for you.
I want to talk to you guys about our great partner at BetOnline AG. Yes, the place that lets you bet on pro wrestling. We've gotten our pro wrestling betting odds from them for years, well before we even worked with them. And we're going to tell you a little bit more about them. They got the earliest lines, the fastest payout, the industry best bonuses. They've been trusted for 25 plus years because of their safe and secure environment and their quick payouts. But you can bet on pro wrestling. How cool is that? If you think you know more than anybody, go ahead and look at those odds. It's the same ones you've seen on Fightful for years. You might see one that sticks out to you and you go, wait a second, there's no way that person's going to win. Why are they an underdog? Make yourself some money. BetOnline AG. And hey, it doesn't stop there. Whatever sports you want, they got you covered. Popular games like blackjack and roulette, Supernova, Skyward, all that stuff. BetOnline AG. Please bet responsibly and only bet what you can at BetOnline AG.
We fixed it for you all.
Yeah.
I wasn't actually talking about a wrestling match. I was talking about sex.
Right. Yeah. But you played the Bet Online one, right? Like...
Oh my God, did I really? I was looking at my notes and didn't even realize it. That was totally intentional. What a swerve. What a swerve by me. Empty Cyclone knows you've Cyclone knows you've been influenced.
We really are the best podcast. We're so good at our jobs. We're the best. We're the best. We're the best at our jobs.
Sean babbles about a lot of stuff via these ads, okay? I'm not always paying attention. I'm looking at my notes. I'm taking care of other things.
Look, on a scale of 1 to 10, professionalism, like a 26 at the very least. That's us.
Listen, something happened yesterday, and now I'm in business for myself, okay? I got these lashes.
Yeah.
Do I care about Fightful sponsorships? Of course I do, but I got an influencer rate on these lashes, so I'm more concerned about influencing you with my lashes.
Honestly, most influencers that I've come across would absolutely do a segue for a dick pill and then hit the button for the betting online button. The thing, you know what I mean?
I have nothing if not consistent with my inconsistency.
Yeah. You're just living the gimmick. That's all.
I'm living the gimmick.
You're just living the gimmick. Yeah, for sure.
I'm a lash legend, is what I'm saying. I wish I looked like her. Jeez.
You are.
Whew.
So
I don't even know what to do now. Do I set up your betting odds at Blue Chew? Like, how do I? I've never done that before. 800 of these in my life.
I don't know. Trick is in the locker room and gets interviewed by somebody, and then Pete Dunne's there, and he's like, "Just wait, you'll find out," or whatever, and he leaves. And I'm like, listen, I love Pete Dunne, and I'm all for him having a match with Trick Dunne. Trick Dunne? Wow.
Trick Dunne.
We're
killing it right now.
Petey Williams versus Trick Dunne. That's gonna be a hell of a match. I am done personally, and that's not a trick. I'm not playing a trick, but I am done.
Oh man!
So
I like Pete Dunne in the background, just like
just seething. I'm really happy that Pete Dunne is doing this, but like he's doing a completely different, unrelated thing on Mondays, and like at the same, there were weeks and weeks and weeks where he wasn't doing anything on Raw, and they were having him show up every now and then on NXT, but not with really any kind of storyline. He was just there to like wrestle matches, but like. Now he's got an honest-to-God storyline in 2 separate shows that seem completely unrelated to each other, and honestly, I would feel like would negate each other. I have zero idea why he's even here. He doesn't work here anymore. Just him hanging out in the break room last week and in the locker room this week when he's like having some kind of grudge feud with Sheamus on Mondays doesn't make a. Why would he get on a plane from wherever the hell Raw was from Green Bay? Why the hell? Give me a reason why any human being would do this. Why you would get on a plane from Green Bay, Wisconsin to fly to Orlando to sit in the background of a shot in a locker room. Why? Give me one reason why you would do that.
Well, probably better weather for one.
I mean, okay, fine.
But
although
also
it is beautiful in Green Bay this time of year.
Okay, I'd lost on me. But I don't know, it's not great, but like I can buy Pete Dunne wanting to fight everybody. They should have made more of a creative effort. But nice. I buy that Pete Dunne just wants to beat everybody up. I'm okay with that.
Here's one I love. This is one I love from Carlos G. Layover. He was on the way, but he had a layover in Orlando. Yeah, okay, listen. I understand that Pete Dunne, the person, lives in Florida. Pete Dunne, the character, doesn't live anywhere. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's like
Pete Dunne, the character, doesn't live anywhere.
Yeah, no. The characters don't live anywhere. They're
Where does he get billed from?
He's isn't he from the Bruiserweight University? I don't know where.
Bruiserweight University. Oh no.
Bruiser you. I don't know.
He's gonna come out in a sweater.
Oro Mena defeated Ashante the Adonis.
Yes.
Last Legend and Jakara Jackson were out there with him. This was decent. I missed watching Ashante the Adonis do literally anything. You know what I mean? Like, it's been a long time since I got to watch that guy work. And Oro Mena wins because you got to have him win with his little like front rolling heel kick thing. And it's a haluva kick, but instead of like running and doing a big boot, he runs and does like a forward somersault kick.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Yes, this was the right call, but this is how I felt about Carmelo and Andrade, man. Like, I don't think either of them should be losing this match. Like, the two of them should not really be facing each other because I don't feel like Ashante should be losing his first match back down in NXT. Silliness.
I mean, it's Ashante. Like, he's not on TV, man. Like, he's not. Like, I guess I don't think that the match should have been fought over whether or not Jakara Jackson is Oro Mensah's property.
Well,
decide who is and who is not allowed to speak to her, a grown-ass woman. Like, and also,
at the very least, that should be a duel.
I mean, yes, it should be pistols at dawn.
Yes, dueling for her honor. Obviously,
it must start with a glove slap. You have sullied this lady's honor, and we shall meet tomorrow on the field of battle. I say.
I did not know that she was a mute and had no say over any of this herself. But
also, Vic Joseph is being like, Ashante the Adonis should not have spoken to Jakara Jackson last week. That's very clear. And then Booker T goes, a man can't look at a woman. A man can't. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you say, that a man is not allowed to look at a woman anymore? And I'm like, I don't like my allies on this, but Booker T is right. All he did was like, he was on to say hello.
He was not skeevy. Like, he was not gross or weird.
And honestly, even if he wasn't like a tiny touch skeevy, it's up to Jakara Jackson to decide whether or not his particular brand of skeevy is her particular brand of skeevy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He kind of like, I guess, yeah, it wasn't like the best, but like we saw Lexis King be way grosser, like on this brand. It was like, what are we doing? Like Cedric Alexander comes back and he has a story with a former champion about like the merits of being a champion. Ashante comes back and it's like, I want that woman. You cannot have that woman. Woman just stands there. Like,
yeah.
What?
This is a very old reference. It's older even than I am by about 11 years.
Okay, well, I'm 24, so there's no chance I get it.
It's the girl in Planet of the Apes, the mute girl in Planet of the Apes, who's not allowed to speak. Like, Charlton Heston just wants her, and that all people like, they give her to him, as a mate, and he's like, I don't think I should be. You know what? Fine. Like, this is the Jakara Jackson's her, like, until she says yes or no, then he is allowed to talk to her. You know what I mean?
And she is not. Her character has not given me the impression that she would fear speaking up for herself in this situation. Like, she has so much charisma. She seems like very clear on what she wants and who she is. She does not strike me as, I need a male advocate to speak for me.
It's so dumb. And then later, Ashante the Adonis plays a trick on two other unsuspecting women by feigning that he is injured, so they will escort him out of the room, and then he winks at the camera. Like, was the camera? Did Kalani know the camera was there? Because Kalani did not know the camera was there. Can Ashante the Adonis see cameras that nobody else can see? Because if so, I think Anonymous has finally met its match. You know what I mean?
Now that's a gimmick I can get behind.
Now that's a gimmick. Like, honestly, the whole thing is null and void because by the end of the show, they showed that Ashante the Adonis just wants to get in literally anybody's pants.
Yeah.
And that I'm not okay with. But at the time this match took place, it was very odd. The whole thing doesn't make a lot of sense. If I would have Jakara Jackson, would have no problem with Jakara Jackson had said, I don't like that. Or, you know what? Hold on. Let me hear him out. I just, at some point, she should be able to say something.
Yeah, especially when they have her at ringside. She didn't even she didn't even fully pick a side.
She didn't. Bad Apple Jam, Treebeard, thank you. The character of Pete Dunne, the real Pete Dunne may in fact live in Orlando. The character of Pete Dunne lives in the back alleys of Whitechapel, London. Like, that is where he makes his home. Like, he is a Peaky Blinder.
Well, he and Timothy Thatcher can carry
right. This is true.
the British flag proudly.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I buy that Pete Dunne wants to get on a plane and go beat everybody up. I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
They could have definitely done more, but
fine.
He does not look at a place in the back of a locker room
I guess he's just like, I'm really angry at Sheamus, but I am also angry at literally everyone else.
Yeah.
Does feel like a Pete Dunne thing.
Yeah. I'm in on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay. So fresh off of their loss to the Rascalz at Slammiversary, which was not mentioned even once, even for a nanosecond. Like, four of your guys went to TNA and wrestled there. Highlights weren't shown. It wasn't brought up. Nobody cared. Like, the same three guys that won that match had a match tonight. That wasn't so. Like, the whole WWE TNA partnership thing. Like, shouldn't the bigger show talk about it as part of the partnership where you're giving us our guys, we're giving you your guys to send some eyes your way. We're gonna bring it. I don't remember them talking about how the No Quarter Catch crew had a match versus the Rascalz at Slammiversary. Wouldn't you hey, we'll throw you I don't know how many people watch NXT are gonna put in a few pay-per-view buys for Slammiversary to see No Quarter Catch crew and versus the Rascalz. But even if it's one guy, that's $50 that you guys didn't have before. How much ever they charge for their pay-per-views. You know what I mean? It's so weird that they're doing this thing, but not bringing it up at all on the TV program.
I don't know what the deal is, because that's how it went with AEW too. I don't know. I don't get the not mentioning the other place in cross promotions with TNA Impact, but that's how it's gone both times that TNA has worked with someone bigger than them. It's very, very odd to me. Very, very odd to me that it was just not mentioned at any point in a real way. Makes no sense.
Anyway, fresh off of that, which did not happen according to tonight, Charlie Dempsey is showing off a ransom note. A ransom note is not a "I know what you did" note. That is a different thing, because if they're not actually, nothing was taken of value or a person was kidnapped, it's not technically a ransom note because you're not really ransoming anything. It's a blackmail note. That's a different thing. But showing it was cut out of a magazine, and he showed it off to Tony D'Angelo. Tony's like, "Hey, classic ransom note," which is not what that is. And Tony should be smarter than that. And I'm not
gonna publicly be criticizing.
Listen, I'm not saying that he's not. I'm saying the writing needs to be better to make him smarter than that.
I'm just protecting my own safety, and I don't feel comfortable on this podcast.
They should have had Charlie Dempsey come in and say they sent me a ransom note and says, Charlie, I hate to quibble, but that is not a ransom note. Nothing of value was taken. Nobody was kidnapped. That is clearly a blackmail letter. And if they had done that, I would have stood and applauded. But they didn't do that.
Not telling mobsters how to mop is all I'm saying.
The blackmail letter, notably, not a ransom note, notably, it says, I saw what you did, or I know what you did. Just if they just said last summer, we would have been fine because smash cut. Jessica Love Hewitt. Instead, Wren Sinclair walks in and be like, "It was me, I sent it, ha ha ha." So, I got a match tonight, and I better win that match, or who knows what I will say or do. So, like, she's blackmailing them into cheating for her so she can win matches. And Tony's like, "I like this girl. She's got moxie." And Charlie's like, "I'm coming for that cup at some point." And like, no, you're not. So Wren Sinclair is doing a fantastic job with this. But is it truly like a no girls allowed thing? Like, I don't know why she's not allowed in the crew. You know what I mean?
I feel like it's her. Like, I feel like if Ivy Nile was back down around here, they would be fine with it. But she's been mostly like extremely silly and cartoonishly overacting. Like, to me, it's the vibe that doesn't fit, so they don't want her. But I am very in on this idea. Like, this has been I've loved it. Like, I feel like it's been very, very fun the way that they've got about this, and it's been more cleanly executed than the things that they think are fun, but are actually extremely convoluted and poorly written. Like, this has been good, and Wren Sinclair has really gotten to showcase what she can do. And Charlie Dempsey's kind of grown into his own a little bit this too. Once they let Damon Kemp go, I was like, let's just not do this faction anymore, because you lost two of the most important pieces of it. But they've done a good enough job steering the shift with Tavion Heights in this story with it. And I didn't think Charlie Dempsey was going to be able to pull off a murder storyline based on what we have seen, but he's doing all right with it. Like, I'm in on this. I think it's helped by Tony D and the fam.
I mean, it's all absolutely bullshit, though, because as Akil says, like, everyone knows what they did. Commentary mentioned it later.
This is the obstacle with it.
Like, we all friggin' saw it. We all saw it. Even the commentary's in on it. They all know what happened. So, like, what is
4K?
What is she blackmailing them from? You know what I mean? Like, I think
I figured it out. I think there's you don't speak what you saw in the NXT parking lot if you're in NXT. But if someone goes to the cops, you've now broken that, like, Fight Club-esque kind of thing.
Right.
That's what I've decided. That's the only way my head can get around it.
Yeah.
Is like, everybody knows what happened to the NXT parking lot. Nobody speaks about it. But if someone threatens to go speak about it, then we all acknowledge that it happened.
Right.
WWE has no snitching policy. Thank you, Sefa. That's
post. That must be it. Ryan Cicchini says, "Well, WWE partner gets the players, but no promotion, and WWE people get reps out of it, I guess." Yeah, I guess that's it.
It's just so weird because that happened with AEW too. Like, I remember during AEW being like, how come they're not talking about the titles that are on this bigger show? Like, I don't know what that is, but
so Wren Sinclair versus Carlee Bright and Kendall Gray is at ringside. The only thing of note here is obviously all of the comedy chicanery trying to help Wren Sinclair win, but also after they put Wren Sinclair's foot on the ropes, Kendall Gray sneaks around the side and suplexes Miles Bourne into the barricade, like a full-on belly to belly, and he reacts like he was just suplexed by the chupacabra. Like he doesn't, like he's like, it was an amazing sell job. Like he was so surprised when he saw who did it. And it was great. And also like Tavion Heights had to like hold him up because he was going to faint. So I don't know. What are the odds that they do allow Kendall Gray in, but they don't allow Wren in? Because like, holy crap, she can suplex dudes. She should be in. And Wren's like, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
I think that could be fun. I hope that's where they're heading with this, because I think that could be really cool. Huge fan of Techers, even bigger fan of Lady Techers. It's like my favorite. But yeah, I was like, why is she at ringside? Get that girl in the ring on this program and not level up. She's great. I mean, I've only really seen that from her, but based on what everybody else has said and this spot, that suplex did not look like it took anything out of her. She looks like she knows what she's doing, so that made me excited. And my only thing is like, what are they going to do with her? Because I know the 2.0 era was different than the new era or whatever, but in some ways it's not. And I look at what they did with Ivy Nile, i.e. jack shit, and it makes me concerned that because she isn't a blonde D3 volleyball player, that they won't know what to do with her, because she already has a way of going about things and they're not molding her in their image. Like, let her work. Let's go.
Ryan Cicchini says, told y'all weeks ago, Kendall Gray is a legit grappler. She is. She's a college level wrestler. So,
yeah, let's go.
Like, that's awesome. We should do. Why is Carlee Bright? Why is the cheerleader? I'm sorry to be the guy, but why is the cheerleader getting all the ring time and the actual amateur wrestler getting none of it? I mean, I suppose we're now moving toward that, but like, wouldn't it be interesting if you had introduced us to Kendall Gray at all, like in any way, before she suplexed this dude out of his boots, so we would have a context for who she is? She's just Carlee Bright's friend, and that's it. We barely know who the hell Carlee Bright is, for God's sakes.
So if the plan is is how she gets into the No Quarter Catch Club, I'm fine with that, because that's actually a really cool introduction. But I am so sick of everybody being everybody's friend, and that's all we know. That part gets old. But if the plan is she enters this feud with Wren Sinclair that is in the No Quarter Catch crew, that's awesome. So I'll have no complaints about that. But we will see how it's gonna go. Should we do some chats, Alex? Because my dad is finally back.
No, I'm finishing out this segment.
Okay.
And then I will do your dad's chat.
Okay. It's been very weird.
Get in line, Paul. Okay. Brian Cicchini says NQCC top faction. I don't make the rules. I mean, they are a fun mid card act currently. Certainly not a top faction, but I get where you're coming from. And Jay Miller says congrats on Wren's first win on TV. That is true. That's a part of this as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
So that is good. All right. Now I will read your father's chat.
It's just very uncomfortable when we don't have the greetings.
Paul Elizabeth says, greetings, SGS. Great to be back as the proud father of the best wrestling analysis, best lashes, and best bangs. They don't suck like everything else does.
It's true. My lashes are fantastic.
So
hi, Dad. Do you feel influenced right now?
I do. I'm under the influence. Yeah.
If you weren't on FightfulSelect.com, best $5 in the business, and you were like, maybe I should subscribe so I can go get some incredible pro wrestling analysis behind the paywall. We talked about my lashes and also Alex's lashes and his hair follicles for like 10 minutes because we did not want to talk about Raw yesterday. It was really rough.
It super was.
But I did come up with a new catchphrase.
Yes.
You've been influenced.
Yeah. It's good.
Because I got the influencer rate.
So Hank and Tank are walking around talking about the 2-night event, the Great American Bash, and these two did they say Belly Boys? I don't know what they called themselves. I don't know what the Big Bellies. I don't know what they called themselves. It was weird, but they want to do something on Great American Bash. Maybe they'll be the hosts. I don't know.
Man, I really liked them. Remember?
Yeah,
Like
no,
when
I like them too.
I think one
Like,
of them
they're
was injured for a little bit, so I get it.
Yeah,
but like,
they're not doing anything. Like they're not doing anything. They had that match that Tyler Bate got injured in. Like that was it. Like so, you know what I mean? But in the background, we see that the Bouncy Boys are looking for somebody, and Javon Evans is like, "I'm not doing anything," which is like what somebody should have done for Trick Williams.
yeah,
2 weeks ago, whatever, but it didn't. So there's your third, and so that's it. So
Alex, you know what's so funny about that is I was like, what are the odds that it's gonna be Javon Evans? You know what I mean?
Yeah. What are the odds?
And then I was like, how do you beat that? I don't know. I got my segue screwed up this week, guys. Here's the Blue Chew ad. I screwed it up.
Blue Chew, main event performance, main event confidence, and a main event deal. Go to BlueChew.com and use the code FIGHTFUL, and you will get Blue Chew with their first shipment for free. Shipment? Yeah, I said shipment. No waiting in line at the pharmacy, no awkward doctor's visits. You take their online exam, and then if approved, it's shipped straight to your door. That's right. Same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in a chewable form and much more affordable. How can you pass up on this? How can you pass up on that confidence? How can you pass up on that performance? How can you pass up on making your sex life better? That's what Blue Chew is here to do. You don't have to have a problem to use Blue Chew. Just get that additional performance. BlueChew.com and the code FIGHTFUL.
Much better.
Thank you so much.
Ridge Holland shows up to a watch party for a Thea Hail interview with new merch. Now, Kate, I don't know if maybe this is just my TV, like the tint was off or the saturation of the colors. Was it not obvious to you that the red that they used for the lettering on the black shirts did not at all match the red that was the red shirt? Like they invert the colors. There's red shirts with black letters, and then there's a brand new shirt designed by Ridge Holland himself that is a black shirt with red lettering, but the red lettering is almost orange, which is not at all the colors. Like that's not how you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that if you were a legitimate university. And I suspect perhaps that Chase U is not an accredited institution.
MD Cyclo said this merch looked like that football team that Sean Ross liked.
Yes, it did.
It did. Taz is going to sue them.
It did.
I appreciate the TMDK tribute, but black and orange is not the colors of Chase U. But I also don't know. Maybe they're rebranding because that lavender was not them either, and we saw that at the last. It
was weird,
PLE.
man. No, I can't do that. No.
But I feel it's almost like Ridge Holland is not a graphic T-shirt designer and is a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
So.
So here's Thea Hail's backstage interview.
Yeah, she sounded like a human being, kind of.
She did. She wasn't crazy. And they're like, we actually see you're a lot more calm. And it's like, yeah. And like, they whacked her up with 30 cc's of ketamine. Like, there's zero chance that she's just, I mean, she's not at all who she normally is. And I guess that's fine. But like, she talks about how it was a year ago at Great American Bash, she had the first title match versus Tiffany. And she's very different now, and they don't need. I know I'm my own woman now. Blah blah blah. And they brought up the weird thing of like Ridge Holland really seems to be a part of the whole thing now. And I was like, And like, yeah, sure, I let him in, and like, you're you're doing a great job with this material, Thea, but don't gaslight me. There was that weird time where he was like, "You remind me so much of my daughter who's 6 years old," and it just felt really weird. And it's just I won't allow that to be retconned. I won't allow it to be, because it was so damn creepy when he did it.
It was weird, but she did say, like, I was the first one to accept him, and now everybody else has come along. So I did appreciate that she at least, like, if you're going to talk about the growth from the last time she had a title shot till now, that growth has not been with a bunch of establishing wins. So you do have to go out of the way to tell me how you are different as a person, because it's not in your win-loss record. So I thought they did a decent enough job of explaining kind of the trajectory of that she is more independent now, which is good, because she wasn't relying on Mr. Chase to throw in the towel or whatever to this point. And all of the stuff with JC Jane, like, if you want to tell me that's character development, I don't think it's good character development, but I'll buy it because you made an effort there. And yeah, Ridge Holland, he did go out of the way to be the one to get this match for her. But also, why is Ridge Holland making matches? Is kind of weird. But it was nice to see her sound like a person. It would be nice if they found a middle ground of, she sounded like she was on NPR today. Like, you can be excited for your title match without being so far in the other direction. But it is nice to have her sound like she's in a conversation with someone. Like, I've been calling for that for a long time. So that was good. I'll take it.
Yeah.
This is call this up.
Yeah. It was a great, it was one of the best I've ever seen.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Be sure to get your betting odds with Manscaped.
Trick Williams and Cedric Alexander had a little match here. And parts of it were good, parts of it weren't.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. This whole thing is very odd. I'm happy that Cedric is there, but if it's just to, like, to be a guy who puts over the young guys, I guess that's better than not being on television at all. Which is fine. I wanted him to have, like, an Apollo Crews run where at least he was challenging for titles and having legitimate feuds. It's very early. Maybe they will do that, but we will certainly see, I guess.
His promo was about standing on being a champion, so I'm hoping that's.
I'm hoping, yeah. And Trick won with the trick knee, which now they call a trick shot, even though it is a knee. And trick knee is a phrase people use. It is a pun in and of itself. It did not need to be changed to trick shot. I don't know why. Like, call something else a trick shot and call that the trick knee.
Alex, I mean, they probably can't. They're trying to keep up with our pun game. Like, there's no way they can do that.
Right.
So they were like,
that is true.
We'll just get out of that game altogether.
That is true.
This was a rough outing for Cedric, but it's also his first outing in 100 years. So I'm sure some of it is just reps and ring rust and whatever. We know what he's capable of.
Right.
But this was unfortunately not, like, the best showing, but I am sure that we will get better ones.
Right.
Down the line.
And also there were points where Trick just wasn't on the same way. Didn't realize how fast Cedric was going to be.
Yeah.
And was out of place. And so they just didn't have the chemistry yet.
Yeah.
So that's a thing that will happen occasionally. I mean, honestly, you'd have to go pretty far back in time to watch Cedric Alexander matches to get a feel for how he moves in the ring.
Yeah.
So Pete Dunne attacked Trick Williams after the match, beat him up pretty good. Says something like, "You still don't know what's going on or whatever." And I truly I don't know, Pete. I don't know what's going on. You're just attacking him because you're mad. But if you're saying you still don't know what's going on, there is a reason why you're doing it. Maybe it's that Trick Williams was the NXT champion and you never got to be, and so you're upset by that because he doesn't seem to take it seriously. I don't know. We're probably getting a Pete Dunne versus Trick Williams match for night 2 of Great American Bash, which will be very, very good. But I don't know. It's just I don't know. We will see how fast it gets back to an actual Ethan Page versus Trick Williams feud. It may be immediately upon the conclusion of the Great American Bash, but
has felt. Some of it is just the circumstances of being a wrestling company, but it has felt a recent there's all these exciting things happening in NXT, but there's not a lot of structure or organization to them.
Mm-hmm.
So Ethan Page coming in and winning the championship is great. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel like that was the plan for a long time. It couldn't have been. He wasn't available for a really long time. The TNA crossover stuff, it's awesome that they're doing that. It does not feel like there has been a clean entry plan with that either.
No.
I don't think they were planning on getting Stephanie Vacure based on reports. They're now finding a way to make room for her. Julia got injured, right? So there's been a lot of chaos, and some of it is just the way the cookie crumbles when you do professional wrestling.
Yep.
But some of it has been a lack of planning in a way that's felt different. It feels like they've had plans that were just creatively nonsensical before. Now it feels like their plans have gotten wrenches thrown in them, and that's creating weirdness for a 2-week event that is a summer milestone or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot of it feels very at random.
Yes. After later in this should have been timed so it was as Trick came back through the curtain into Gorilla, but it was done 15 minutes later.
Yeah, this was weird.
So he's talking to Shawn Michaels at Gorilla about how I'm done with this. Pete Dunne he tries to attack me again. I'm not liable for what I might be liable for what I'm going to do. Blah, you give me a match with him or something like that. And Shawn's like, okay. He's completely ineffectual.
But he's in Gorilla. He's trying to do his job, I
suppose. And
then time and a place.
And then Roxanne comes up and says, "How dare you give Thea Hail a sit-down interview and I get nothing?" And this is where they stumbled upon the perfect storyline for this thing and
not telling it.
Not actually doing. I'm so sick of this stupid underdog everybody roots for thing. Nobody wants to see it. I'm like, this is it. This is the thing. For an actual feud, I think this is a one and done for Thea Hail, so it's not really an actual feud. It didn't really have any real build up, so maybe they said, why even go this route? But it's a perfect route to go because Roxanne Perez was the underdog baby face everyone was rooting for, and it got her nothing. It got her the title for a little bit, and then they stripped her of it
for no reason,
because of the dumb creative, because Shawn Michaels' greatest hits, and so she can say to Thea Hail, "I've been you. I know who you are because that was me. And let me tell you, the sooner you realize that this whole act of being the underdog that everybody roots for is going to take you no place, the better off you're going to be." That would have been a really cool thing. And then and then Thea could talk about how jaded she is, Roxanne, and how that's not going to be me and all this kind of stuff. And they just didn't do any of it. So
you could even add in the layer of, I tried to be friends with the bad girl, and what did that get me? From Thea's standpoint, there is a story that is sitting right there that they are just choosing not to tell. Yeah. Which is a bummer because it's right there.
This is the only appearance of Roxanne Perez, your women's champion, on the show tonight. Was just this. Yelling at Shawn Michaels at Gorilla. Even more egregious, Obafemi not on the show, not mentioned on the show.
Which
does
is
he
absurd.
have a match? Does he have a match at the Great American Bash? I mean, the answer is no, he does not.
He'll have one week 2 that's not.
He'll have 1 week 2 that's not set up yet, but like
Joe Hendry, I bet maybe.
Okay, I mean, I okay. I guess
he's got like the big song next week or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
but he's gonna face Gallus.
Oh, duh, that's right.
Like he's gonna have a song about Gallus and face Gallus.
About that. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know. Just it's like what Obafemi is a breakout star. Everybody loves this guy. Whenever you see him, all I see on Twitter is this dude's the truth. Like you don't have anything for after the Wesley thing wrapped up. You gave him a match versus Duke Hudson, and then nothing. Like
I'm trying to think of even who's like kicking around right now. Who's not doing anything. It's too early to have him murder Javon Evans. He's got to do something. They'll set up something for week 2 and week 1.
It should be Javon Evans. Should be my story that I wanted from the beginning.
It should be.
Javon Evans has a match versus him. It gets the tar beat out of him. Gets another match a few months later. Gets closer. Gets another match a few months later. Comes this close to beating him. In the 4th match, which is like a year from now, he pins him. And then Oba immediately goes to the main roster and destroys everybody, beats Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes in a handicap match and becomes the champion of everything.
That last part was a new development from what you've spoken about in the past on the show. But I don't necessarily disagree with it.
It's the only thing that'll make me truly happy, Kate.
I get it. It is the definition of peace and fulfillment.
Oba versus
they might
actually do
it
because Moose isn't the champion anymore. So
it's a stupid waste of my time.
Moose just lost his belt, so there you go.
Nothing I want to see like Obafemi and a
honestly
50-year-old.
This makes sense. Eddie Thorpe
would be great.
Just beat Lexis King. Eddie Thorpe Eddie Thorpe getting because that dude can sell. Like his match with Dijak was awesome. That would be great. Really, really, really.
That would be fun. They'll probably do something for week 2. We just should know what that is now.
Yeah, we should have an inkling.
Yeah, there should be handwriting on the wall for it at least. Yeah,
Lings should be inked.
Lings should be inked.
Luis, how dare you? He just lost the X Division title. Why not Ali at Great American Bash Night 2? That man should never have to set foot in any WWE building ever again. Why are you wishing such horrible things on that man? He finally escaped, and you want to put him back in prison, even for one night, Luis?
I don't think I'll say that I'm tapped out on seeing Mustafa Ali lose in NXT. I don't need to see that again. And Obafemi ain't losing. So
all right. Hey,
Luis says he was spitballing. Spitball Mike Bailey? I see what you did there.
Kalani Jordan is backstage talking to 2 of them we never seen before. And who I'm assuming are recruits, and people will know their names, but I don't because they didn't tell me who they were. And then one of them is like, "Oh my God, did you see this video by Tatum Paxley?" Which is where she's playing with dolls, and she's like, "Kalani, why don't you let me play with you?" It's like, "Oh, that girl creeps me out." And in the background is just Wendy Chu like walking slowly, making eyes, and I'm like, "Okay, cool, fine." Cool. Did we make that match? That's going to be a match made for night 2 for the week 2 of it. So we'll get that one, and then Tatum Paxley, fingers crossed, beats Kalani Jordan, and we can move on with that. You can spend some time actually giving her a real character so that when she has another title reign, because I think she deserves another title reign, when she has an actual character.
I don't think that's what will happen, but I do think Kalani's like the perfect kind of innocent, likable person for a story like this. Like, I think that's
Right.
very, very fun.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that match, and I like the way that they've built this out. This has been a fun road. The dolls thing is like super creepy and cool. I'm into that.
Yeah.
Especially because she was using the tequila shot finisher too. That was cool. Like, I feel like that her ring style mixed with what Kalani could do could yield some really fun results. So
Yeah.
it's better than a feud about just gymnastics.
It is. Bad Apple says Obo versus Josh Alexander is the only one true choice.
Well, I don't know if they would want Josh to lose, but I would be okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I thought we were gonna get past the Oro thing in like really fast, so we would get Josh Hendry. My God, I believe in Josh Hendry. That's a very different dude.
Say their name and they appear.
Josh Hendry is the captain of the lacrosse team. That's not Joe Hendry.
No,
Joe Hendry's a different guy. Joe Hendry, we're going to give him get him a title match versus Ethan Page, which would then be ruined because Josh Alexander shows up and attacks Joe Hendry because now he turned on him, which would help out Ethan Page, and Ethan Page and Josh Alexander going like, hold on a second. You know what I mean? Would be really fun.
What if instead Ethan Page got pinned when he wasn't in matches?
Nah, that would never work. So there was a video package of Joe Hendry, which, man, I don't know. I mean, he's over. I don't get it. I don't get it. As a guy who doesn't know anything about, like, all I know of him is what I have seen from his time on NXT, and I don't get it. I don't get why he's special.
Well, you're
next week, he's gonna have a concert where he's gonna sing a song, and because I am told that is the thing that makes him special, I will watch that, and I will be wowed. Right?
You have preemptively decided to be wowed.
I mean, like that's I gotta have.
Well, Alex, part of it is that you're no fun because some of it is just how over and inescapably over he is, and you do not ride that train.
Right.
So get on the train.
Okay. All right. Cool.
I will say we've said his name several times on this show, and he has not appeared. So
not appeared.
I have heat with Joe Hendry.
Bad Apple Jam Treebeard wants a Josh Hendry versus Trick Dunne match.
Ooh.
That would be pretty good.
Special guest referee, Duck Hudson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very good.
Just everybody whose names we've screwed up.
Gallus is interviewed as they're walking out of the building, and Joe Gallus. Joe Gallus, I dubbed him Joe Gallus a while ago. Joe Gallus challenges old Joe Hendry, Joe versus Joe, to a match next week, and then they find a flyer for his big concert next week. And Joe Gallus is very upset by this. Also very upset that the windshield of their vehicle has been papered with said flyers. So
you can't escape him, bro.
I can only assume that the concert will go on for a little while and then will be interrupted by the Gallus boys, who will beat up Joe Hendry, and then Joe Hendry versus Joe Coffey will be made for night 2. And that'll be Joe Hendry beating Joe Coffey. So, yes?
Yeah, that'll probably be the way that we go with this.
Okay. So let's talk about this Ethan Page thing. Remember last week where I said this thing where Oro Mena, quote unquote, pinned him is going to be the whole reason why they're going to do the match and they're going to do that. I was like, I knew they were going to do that. I knew they were going to do that. So like, I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was just surprised at how badly they did it. Like, and in it, like him showing up and this is all of the segments of Ethan Page we're going to talk about back to back to back. Ethan Page showing up and being like teased by Team Bouncy Beef about Oro Mensah pinning him. And it's like, I'm not bothered by it, but he didn't pin me because it wasn't a ref and it wasn't a match. So it doesn't matter. It's like, I don't know. It seems like you're pretty pissed off about it. So, and so there's that thing. And then he wants to go see Ava, but the Stevie Turner and I said this in the group chat. The Stevie Turner and Robert Stone scene made me want to stab myself in my ears and my eyes at the same time. Like, what is that? And because I'm watching it through the eyes of Ethan Page, who must be like, this is what they have for my reign? Is this? Like they're both fumbling their words about whether or not like that Ethan Page is lucky to be the champ. Oh no, actually, we're lucky to have you as the champ. I mean, can you imagine if Oro Mensah was champ? What are you saying? Oh, not that I want Oro Mensah to be champ, but like how bad it would be if he was champ. And finally, he just has to leave. Where is
him leaving was like how I felt I wanted to be about the scene. His timing is really good, but there's like
so good, which means he's so much better than this.
Yeah, when he came in, I was like, he should be a tentpole talent in NXT. Now I'm like, can we get him to the main roster actually? Because this is bad. And there's some not great stuff on the main roster too, but they get paid more for that. I don't like when wrestling turns into a parody of itself, and that's what the stuff feels like to me. Is like they're making fun of wrestling or something. He's really good at all of the shticky stuff, but like his trajectory so far has been came in as a big deal signing. They didn't protect his finisher. He kind of goofed his way into a 4-way, won that via, as you always say, oops daisy, like won that almost accidentally. And then we have like this. And I understand, and I'm sick of people pretending I don't understand, but I truly, fully understand the idea of like the undeserving, standing on what he hasn't earned heel. I get it. I don't like it when a guy's ceiling is so much higher than that, and this is what we have for him. Like, that bugs the living crap out of me, because this is your championship. Like, this is the thing everybody's fighting for, and it's like the booking was not great, and it felt like it was being made a joke, and then like this segment made it feel like it is a joke. Tim McFowle raising a very good point that I don't understand. Thank you so much for pointing that out.
Yeah. So
I just don't. I get it. I fully get it.
So,
I don't like it.
Upon winning his match, Oro Mensah tries to lead the crowd in a chant of 1, 2, 3 to signify the pinfall that he supposedly, legitimately got on Ethan Page last week, and the crowd is having none of it. So, during a commercial break, a producer came out to the ring and said, "Hey guys, we need you to chant 1, 2, 3 when Ethan Page comes out." I'm like, "Oh, okay, thanks." Because they didn't get it. They weren't given the memo. We're supposed to like chant 1, 2, 3 when Oro Mensah says it. No, it's a thing. We need you guys to chant, because that's how WWE works. They absolutely tell people in NXT. We have had people who were in the NXT audience tell us via Twitter that they told us to chant this at this time. So that is what they do. So they obviously, because there's no way you go from "we're not going to chant that" to "let's all chant it" without being told to do it. So Ethan Page comes back to Ava's office and sees a referee coming out of there and says, "Hey, you're a referee. You know this. Was I pinned last week?" Well, technically it wasn't a match, so it wasn't actually a real pinfall. "Thank you. Come with me." So he's going to he brings a referee all the way to the ring, so the referee can tell the people who are chanting 1, 2, 3 because they were told to, that he wasn't actually pinned. Then the referee does, and then he says, See, referees are usually so stupid around here, and this one's actually smart. Thank you very much. And then Oro Mena rolls into the ring, slides into the ring, rolls him up from behind a schoolboy, and the referee, for no reason, because it's not a match, gets down on his hands and knees and goes 1, 2, 3. And everyone goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. This is what we're doing to Ethan Page. You know what this is? This is what the reason that this got me so in such a dark, horrible place mentally that I couldn't even enjoy the main event, which was objectively brilliant, is because I was watching this going, oh my God, they're turning Ethan Page into the Miz. This is absolutely, note for note, a story they would run with the Miz as champion. Being taunted by the crowd, like not wanting to have a match, but I'm finally going to have a match because he's got my. Hey, you need to do something about this. Going to the manager, the general manager, to get this guy off my back. They're turning Ethan Page into the goddamn Miz, and I won't stand for it. Ethan Page is so much better than that. Why can't you book any title reigns good? They're the most important people on the show you book. Those are the stories that should be the important ones. So they're the good ones. Why do you suck so much at this?
Everyone, let's take a moment of silence for Alex. He's melted. Real 180 from the old ref there, Hod. This was also not a match, most notably referee. Here's what I have laid for Ethan Page. His comedic timing is very good. He is smart enough to know Oro Mena is on the way. And that's about it. Everything else surrounding this has been bad. And you're not far off when you say that's the Miz. And a lot of, because some people were saying it was like, last week we're saying it was like MJF-ish. And I was like, but Ethan Page doesn't read as MJF to me. Like, and I don't know, like if I'm bringing in someone who's a future star and a current star, clearly he's the champion. Like, why are you going out of your way to make him look like an idiot so much? And why can't security do anything about Oro Mena ever? From the segment backstage where it felt like they were making a joke out of it, to taking a referee to the ring to why the fuck does Ethan Page care? Like, Ethan Page doesn't care what his coworkers think. I'm supposed to buy that he cares that the crowd thinks that he got pinned. Why isn't he setting up his next title defense?
He wouldn't care because it wouldn't matter, except for the fact that, like, they're making it matter. Like, they're making it be the whole reason why everything is, like, you know what I mean? They're making it be that. So
I don't buy that Ethan Page gives a shit that the crowd thinks that he got pinned in a non-title situation when he doesn't care that he won the match not by his own volition. If he's that satisfied with getting a win and that satisfied with being the champion that he doesn't even care that he won it not in a fair way, I'm supposed to give a shit that he thinks that the crowd is, oh, they're chanting 1, 2, 3 at me. That guy doesn't give a fuck. I'm really making the sponsors happy tonight between my cursing and getting the segues crossed up. I'm killing it. So
happy birthday, HBK. You broke me.
There you go.
After the show, he finally gets the chance to talk to Ava. And says, That's
the other thing. People are interrupting Shawn Michaels, who's just in Gorilla twice, and then Ava's office is full.
What the hell is Ava doing?
The interns?
What are you doing?
I mean, good for her. Get that bag if you're just sitting there not doing any work. Like,
Are you online shopping for more Doc Martens? What are you doing?
Well, hold on. That's a great use of time. You can get away with doing that on the clock. I would have done that. I should have done that at my last job. Are you kidding?
Anyway, he says, I want a match with Oro Mena, and she says, okay, next week you'll have the contract signing. We don't really need that, honestly. Just do the match. It's been, like, when did he attack Oro Mena and Noam Dar? Was it
my
March?
God. 6 years ago?
Like, somebody attacked them, but, like, I mean, it wasn't March. It was April or early May, maybe. So, like, we've been waiting. Like, you finally are giving us the match. You don't need to put it off for a week. Have him beat Oro Mena next week and then have a match versus Joe Hendry the following week that Josh Alexander interrupts to further the story with Joe Hendry. Like, I mean, do that thing. We don't need to do it. You don't need to do a contract signing. Come on. Come on.
After his NXT debut.
No, but like the thing was that Noam Dar was attacked weeks before Ethan Page showed up on screen.
Yes.
It was supposed to be a different guy. And then Ethan Page got signed and they were like, we're going to make it into Ethan Page. But like the actual attack happened probably in early
before
April.
Ethan Page was signed. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like June 4th? What? My God. I'm sorry. Every week feels like years when we're covering the show. So like I can't believe.
But that was what, 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago?
I mean, somehow it just feels like it must have been at least 6 months ago. That's how long it feels.
Well, the thing is, Oro Mena is obsessed with him since. So it's like it feels so long ago because the story since has been Oro Mena is in love with Ethan Page.
So, Ethan Page, they're going to do anyway. They're going to do the contract signing next week, which I'm sure will go off without a hitch. And then we're going to do the actual match the following week, and maybe then after we get past the Oro Mena part of his title reign, maybe then they'll do something that's not this level of terrible with Ethan Page as champion. Maybe.
I mean, you'd hope that Trick is coming back for it. Hopefully that's better. And it's not even like, man, we got like that really emotionally appealing whole like monologue from Oro Mena a couple weeks ago. It's to do. I just don't understand the value in
I forgot entirely about that monologue.
It was so good.
They're FaceTiming Noam Dar. It felt like there was like, oh, this is for you to get to root for him 4 weeks from now when he finally has the match.
This is my birthday.
May 14th.
On my birthday.
May 14th.
My God.
There you go.
It's so, I just don't get why when you have someone that's in real life as authentically good as Ethan Page is at this, why you go out of your way to use the same tactics for someone like you said, The Miz. That's an alarmingly accurate comparison.
Right.
Who, like, the thing was, The Miz was an MTV star. Right. So you do all of that because he's not going to be the best in the ring because he was an MTV star and he's made it work for 18 years. God bless him. But like Ethan Page should feel, man, I want this guy to feel like a real deal champion.
Yeah.
And they have spent 3 months.
The Miz has built an incredible career on being a reality TV star who decided to try wrestling.
Yes.
Ethan Page is a professional wrestler. I'm sorry, that's the difference. Like, The Miz is never going to feel like that to me, even after how long he's been there, because it always feels like he came from something else and lucked into this. You know what I mean? Once he got there, he put in the work to get better. I'm not taking that away from him, but like he was a dude on The Real World, and then decided, hey, what about WWE? And then
and it's the thing, what he like reverse engineered into being a superstar, right? as opposed to like a pro wrestler who
Yeah.
can now fit any superstar template because he has all of this versatility and ability because he's come up through this other way.
Yeah.
So I get that heels cheat. I'm an Eddie Guerrero gal. Like, he's one of my favorites. He's on my Mount Rushmore, okay? Yeah. But, like, this ain't the way to do it. Like, there's a way to... Cheating should make you... This is what it is. Cheating should make you look clever. Cheating shouldn't make you look stupid.
Right. Well, he's not even cheating.
He's not even cheating in this, yeah.
They're openly mocking him.
That's what it feels like. They're making a joke of him.
Yeah, they're making fun of him.
Yeah.
Of
it's
Ethan.
Weird.
Why did you sign Ethan Page and put him in this position if you were the end goal was going to make fun of him as your champion? They have a match in 2 weeks, and like 2 weeks after that, they're on the CEW. Like you're
especially as like an establishing thing. Like, this is how he's come into the company. It's very weird.
Yeah. Also, the thing that you were talking about, like stories. Some stories take a long time to tell. You know what I mean? War and Peace is a very long story, but that's how long it takes to tell the story. WWE takes the Cat in the Hat and makes it as long as War and Peace. Like, it's just it's raining. We can't go outside to play. A cat shows up. The whole house is a mess now because there's a thing and then another thing. And they made the whole house a mess. We got to clean it up before Mom gets home, and we do. That's it. It's a thin book. Like, those are all the things that happen in it. But in WWE, it's going to take 6-7 weeks for the cat to even show up, and then finally when the cat's there, it's just like the goldfish just doing monologues every now and then. Okay. Like I said, I was in such a dark place from realizing that they mizzed Ethan Page that I couldn't even enjoy the amazing spectacle of superhuman athletes doing superhuman things at a supersonic pace, all 6 of them. It was like watching the Avengers fight each other, and I was sitting there going, "Turn deep." I can't help myself. So I'm watching, they're going, I'm like, this is really good, but I hate all of it because they turned Ethan Page into the fucking mess. And so it was great, but
It was fantastic. It was fantastic. It's also hard to get out of when you see creative that pisses you off. Like, when the next thing doesn't really have stakes to it, even though it's great. Like, there wasn't like oh, what a huge payoff for this story, or this is for a trios title or anything like that. So it really can't pull you out in the same way. But this match was incredible. Like, the Rascalz are I'm so glad they got to be back together on my screen because they didn't miss a step, man. Like, their offense is so clicked in as a unit. It was so much fun to watch. And these are the first guys that I think gave our Blurry Boys a run for their money as far as like speed in the ring. And Javon Evans is an absolute phenom. He was made to look so in this match. He's been raised really well in NXT so far. Hope that maybe they will do him in Oba because he's still kicking around at the top of the card, so that's good. But this was fantastic. This was, and this is coming from a Tekker sicko, like as far as spot foo or whatever goes, this was some of the most logical athleticism and acrobatic wrestling that you could ever see because everything made sense. Very little felt superfluous in it, but it was just, I was so blown away just by I'm like, that's just not how gravity works. Like, the law doesn't apply to the parking lot, and in this match, like, gravity did not apply to the ring. Like, it was just unbelievable to get to see this, and it just made me happy that the Rascalz got to reunite because it wasn't like at any one point one of the 3 of them was doing something very cool, and then when you look at the greater context of the match, this unit was very cool in the way that they interacted and performed in this. I had an absolute blast watching this. So this was great. This was great.
At the end of it, they do the move I hate. which is the backflip that,
Yes.
that must be pushed onto somebody. And so Zach Wentz gets a pinfall on Axiom. And so I'm assuming we're getting MSK versus the Blurry Boys.
It has to, yeah. Seems like a next logical
maybe
step.
night 2 match, which is going to be great, but the Blurry Boys will win because I don't think they're giving TNA people any titles anytime soon.
No.
But if they didn't do that, what I would have hoped we would have gotten out of this is just because it would be awesome, not because they hate each other, but because I wonder which one of us is better. A Wesley versus Javon Evans match. Maybe we still get that out of this.
That could be really cool.
When I was watching them in the ring together, I was like, Trinity and Page are fucking Miz, but these two guys are pretty good. These two guys are pretty good, I guess. And so Wesley
Which is
versus
the highest of compliments, to be honest. If you were able to acknowledge that in that frame of mind.
That's true. Javon Evans versus Wesley that's on a list of matches with your current roster in NXT you've got to do at some point.
Yes, 100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
So, Ethan. So, Love 4 Boost says Booker said that he's under the learning tree during a match, and I was like, Booker, no, that's the OG Joe Hendry. Now Jericho's going to show up for sure.
Yes, the learning tree was initially an Impact thing with Brian Myers.
Well,
so Jericho is boring and unoriginal, is what I.
Luis does have a very good idea of Javon Evans versus Trey Miguel. Just
for fun.
Trey Miguel's not doing anything if MSK's got the title shot, so
that's true.
Why not?
That's true.
Tim McFall says MSK versus Blurry Boys must lead to Blurry Boys versus ABC. Sure.
Not mad about that.
Sure.
I try to manage my expectations with interpromotional stuff because I have learned that is the best way to go about things. Because when AEW did it, I was like, the Knockouts division with the AEW women's division of yore, I was like, oh, what a huge advantage. There were 0 matches. There was like 1. So I'm just like, I just want everyone to have fun. I'm going to hang up and listen.
I don't think they're going to do it, but the one that I actually want, because I'm the only guy who actually likes this dude, is Top Dollar coming over to do some stuff, to go back to the old stomping grounds. And because I think that could be fun. Him and Rich Swann versus a tag team could be really fun.
Could be very fun.
Bad Apple Jam Treebeard says the way they're booking Ego, he's a future speed champ for sure.
So far, you guys have told me he's the Miz or the Speed Champ, and I just want him to be Ethan Page.
So, on to more positive things. Breaking news: Templario beat Averno in the finals of the Contenders Tourney in CMLL. With this win, he will face MJF for the AEW International title in Reno, Mexico on Friday, August 2nd. And that will be a must-watch.
Absolutely wild right now. Jeff Cobb versus Takeshita. That's also a thing that's available in wrestling today. Whew.
Oh, this would be really good. This is a great idea. Perfect. Top Dollar and Swan versus Cedric and Ashante. And
it's right there.
And Top Dollar having that across from each other would be really, really, really good.
That would be.
Really Ty McFall says, I didn't hate this week as much as you all. I mean, I hate the Page storyline, and the writing for Roxy is atrocious. But the matches slap, and there is so much more representation in the main roster. I won't argue with that last point at all. That is so true. However, the continuity stuff and the logic stuff is the most paramount thing to me in all of my wrestling fandom. And when that sucks, everything else gets dragged down. And unfortunately, that's how it works for me.
And also the things that you just said that you hated the most are your men's and women's world champions. That's not great. That's not great.
Yeah. Valab says, does Kate believe the ZSJ will rule G1 in Climax 34?
Nope, not anymore, since they hadn't beaten Naito too early in this thing, and I am not happy about it because I don't think Shota Umino is ready for it, and ZSJ deserves it, but they're not going to have a Gaijin win at Wrestle Kingdom. It's a whole thing. But ZSJ deserves the world.
ZSJ, hashtag ZSJ Rule 34.
Yeah, that's something that our friend Shane Haste is peddling on Twitter.
All right, cool. Should we do some circus and carnival puns? Let's do
Of course we should.
Insert Clever Tegan Knox pun says Trapezegan Knox. Luis Polito says circus puns? How about Psycho Clown?
Well played.
Matthew Hooks says Clown Car Show 2000.
Thank you very much for my
Carney Cage and Cotton Candy Cody. Tom Valley says the Ringmaster Steve Austin.
Very nice.
Mr. Showtime says Lionheart Chris Jericho clown. Too much, Alex? No, never. Every time you can call Chris Jericho a clown, it's good. Mr. Showtime says WCW World War III Ring Circus.
Very nice.
Chris Pereira says Valentina Ferris Wheel.
Well done.
Lieutenant Colonel Photo says King of the Ringmaster. Mr. Showtime says Trapeze Team 2000. Mr. Charlie Electric Mayhem says Cirque du Monet. There you go.
CEO. You said her name, so we have to.
Mm-hmm.
If you say Joe Hendry's name, he appears. If you mention Mercedes in any way, you have to do the CEO dance.
Mr. Showtime says, well, it's the big top.
Very nice.
Chris Electric Mayhem says Big Josh and the Dancing Bears.
You speak to my heart. You could have gone for Doink the Clown because it was right there, but you went for Big Josh.
The MD Cyclo says the greatest Big Showman.
Classic.
Meet Norma says Bam Bam Juggalo. Techno Tent 2000.
Very nice.
Penta El Circus Clown Miedo. Balloon Henley. Big Top Bronson Reed. And Doink the Clown.
I've heard that Bronson Reed is big.
Big Bronson Reed, if true. Bag at Apple Jam Treebeard says Kizarni.
Nice.
Mr. Showtime says Clown Shoes Barrett. Not Bad News Barrett, but I'm afraid I've got some clown shoes. Now that would be great. If he just walked out wearing giant clown shoes and says, I'm afraid I've got some clown shoes.
But still has a gavel.
But still, for some reason.
I loved Bad News Barrett.
It's a big inflatable one that squeaks when you pound it.
Yes.
Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, that'd be good.
That you just won at the carnival right there.
Lieutenant Colonel Photo says Cash Ferris Wheeler.
Very good.
Bad Apple Jam Treebeard says, well, it's a big top. Bad Apple Jam Treebeard says Sideshow Bob's your uncle. Jesse Ozog says,
I love the ones that are canon. It's my favorite thing.
Bearded Lady Frost and the Ringmaster Blasters.
Very good.
Bad Apple Jam Treebeard says Wang Man the Human Unicorn. Mr. Showtime says Chris Jericho, effing Carney, need I say more? No, you don't need to say anymore. Bad Apple Jam Treebeard says Cirque du Samurai del Sol.
Very nice.
Hold on. Meet Norma says Big Top Josh and his Dancing Bears.
Very nice.
Mr. Showtime says Sertentico.
That's really good.
I'm gonna leave it. Hold on. I went all the way down. I don't see it here. Earthquake. John Tenta. I mean, come on, guys.
Right there.
Come on, guys. I know it's before your time,
But
John
we know John Tenta. I mean, so much is before my time, me being 24 years old.
Not you. I'm talking about them. I knew it's before their time.
Fair enough.
Meet Norma says bad apple jam tree bearded lady.
Very nice.
Luis Polito says tent Beretta. Bad apple jam tree beard says Zack Saber swallowing Jr.
Very good.
Lieutenant Colonel Photo says Bianca Bellarial acrobatics.
Wow. Well done.
Cedric Mayhem says House of Black Mirrors. And
Very nice.
Junkyard Corn Dog. Lieutenant Colonel Photo says contortionist. The least likely contortionist.
That is true.
Lieutenant Colonel Photo says, I swerve when I shallow dive, and I swerve when I shallow dive. Electric Mayhem says, human cannonball Mike Bailey.
Very nice.
And a funhouse brawl.
Funhouse brawl is very good.
Meet Norma says, Captain Insano Clown Posse. And Carney Ninare. Electric Mayhem says Hank and Dunk Tank or Dunk Hudson.
Dunk Hudson, the OG.
Silver Apocalypse says Thea Flying Walenda's Hail.
Very good.
Roderick Strongman, the Bearded Lady Frost. Just Ricardo says
how much Lady Frost ones we're getting.
Insane Clown Posse and Ferris Wheeler Yuta.
Very good.
Ian R says Penta Elephant Cerro Miedo. Circus Murder Gymnastics.
Very nice. Louise, you don't have to pay. You have access to the document. Just put yours in.
I think that's it. I think that's all of them. Oh wait. Oh, there we go. Tom Lavelli says Tenta El Cerro Monkeys. That's all of them. Kylie says, hello, you lovely humans. I hope you both are well. I think we are. Pretty good. Pretty good.
We are. I have lashes now.
We're good.
Okay.
Here we go.
You've been influenced.
Mr. Bandana Head says, Team KLX has recommended my most doctors for your mental health.
Thank you.
Will the Ghost of Dusty Roads please sing Don't Touch My Clogs? Hey, it's me. It doesn't
Dusty.
rule. Hello, it doesn't mean hi, I'm here. Hold on.
Hello, how are you? How's Wrestler Heaven?
It's all right. It's good. We had a big barbecue up on the Lido deck. It was nice. Of course, it's all vegan stuff up here. So
because you're kind of animals in Wrestling Heaven.
Anyway, no, we don't have a lot of livestock up here. So
sure.
But we do have
mostly it's bulls, unfortunately.
Yeah, there we go. Try bull, Chief. Years before I was born, Father told this to me. It was one Christmas morning in 1973. There was one lonely gift nestled under the tree. My father said, don't touch my... He said, boy, listen close. I'm saying this once. They were worn by my parents and their parents' parents. Now they're yours. Be sure to guard them with your life. He said, don't ever let them touch my clogs. You can take my cash. You can burn my house. You can force feed trash. I'd let you kick my balls, Daddy, while I chewed on glass before I even thought about letting someone touch my clogs. You'd have to take my life, baby. You have to steal my dog, if you will. Have to beat my wife. You'll have to kill my mom with a rusty knife. That's hard times. You'd have to break my leg before I ever let you touch my clog. Don't touch my CLOGS. Where am I? They're my clogs. Whoa. Oh, that's right.
I feel like you're a little obsessed with your clogs.
Not me. I'm just reciting the lyrics. Meet Norman says, there's no meat in the great beyond. Jeez Louise. I mean,
I'm beyond, like beyond meat.
The thing is, there may be, I'm assuming there is meat in meat heaven. which I'm assuming that's where Meet Normus will go.
Yeah.
But in wrestler heaven, unfortunately, since we are a cruise ship and there is no livestock up here, so
It's fair.
anyway, that's
Be kind
true.
to animals. It's fine.
Hold on, what? Okay, here we go. We got yeah, that's right. Hold on one second. I'll be back in a second. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
The tofu dogs are burning over on the grill. So
You gotta go take care of those. Yeah.
All right, bye. I'll be right back.
Texture gets all weird. It's not good. Oh,
Hello.
hi,
It's
Ricky.
me. Tom LaValle wants Rinky Rainbow to sing "This Is Me" by from The Greatest Showman.
We were just talking about the circus a whole bunch. Have you ever been, Ricky?
To the circus.
Yeah.
I joined the circus once.
You did?
Yep, I played the Calliope. That was me.
I believe it. I feel like you'd be great at that.
I was also the lion tamer. I'm not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, because we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say. No one will love you as you are, but I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words want to cut me down, I'm going to send a flood, going to drown them out. I'm brave, I'm bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, because here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me. Oh, 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 oh. Thank you.
That was beautiful. I feel empowered.
Thank you. Right. Well, you're right. There was it's true. No, I've been to the circus, Piccadilly Circus in London. Thank you.
Nailed it.
Right. Okay, well, someone else wants to come back and do things.
Oh, okay.
Meet Normus says, hello, bruv, let's crank. This show was a festival of ass until the main event. Can the dust of Ghosty Road sing Party Man by Prince? I can. Big Prince fan.
Are you?
All hail. New king in town, baby. Young and old, gather round. Black and white, red and green. The funkiest man you ever seen. Tell you what his name is. Party Man. Party Man. Rock a party like nobody can, baby. Rules and regulations. No place in his nation. Party Man, party man. Party people say it now. Yeah, 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 yeah. Somebody holler if you want to party. Holler if you hear me. Ladies and gentlemen, no pictures, please. Get it up. Oh, yeah. Party man, get it up. Get it up. Oh, I love purple. If you will.
I feel like you were more into that one than some of our other karaoke picks.
David, I'm a big fan of Prince. Prince and I have a lot in common.
He's great.
Both of us are tremendous basketball players.
Of course.
Yes,
No,
I have also won many a game wearing a blouse.
Yeah, you basically share wardrobes, it feels like.
That's right.
Story
All
tracks.
Right. Well, that's it. No more chats. That's about all we got. So I guess that's it. So then you say a thing and then I say a thing, right? So when I say a thing, then you say a thing. So I'm gonna say keep it cool, gabagools.
And I say toodles.
And I say thank you.